Hi, it's Bargain Counter Argument, also known as Sock Marionette, and I'm coming to you with my first non-live stream post. And what I'm doing is this is a book unhaul in the sense that I have books that have to go back to the library today. So I thought I'd do a little unhaul and tell you what I have out from the library and what I'm returning to the library. So first off, the books that are absolutely positively due today, and people are waiting for these books. So two of them I had to read really quickly over the last couple of days because I didn't know that people were waiting, but I did. And the first of those was God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I wasn't sure about this one, and I started it and ended up really getting absorbed, gripped, and I really liked it. So it looks like it's super long, and it is, I think, 470 pages, but this is the large print edition. So, of course, it's longer than the standard edition. Okay, so that was a book that's somebody's waiting for, due today. Another one that somebody's waiting for that was due today that I read yesterday. I read that one on New Year's Eve, and I read this one on New Year's Day. Consider Me by Becca Mack. This is a hockey romance, and it is 470 pages long, which is like, that's with standard font. It's not large print. I enjoyed it. It's a hockey romance, and I wasn't sure about that. But I did like it, and I will say that for those of you with more delicate sensibilities, there's a lot of crude language, also in a sexual context, so there's certain words that they use that, maybe some people would find off-putting. And also the male main character is a pro hockey player who's a player off the ice as well. So there is a little bit of, well, a fair amount of discussion of promiscuity. I liked it. Not everybody would. Okay, here's another book that's due today, and I think somebody has a hold on it. I actually read it several days ago, and I feel kind of bad because I could have returned it earlier. Well, actually, no, I couldn't have because I hadn't read it yet. Anyway, that is Apprentice to the Villain, which is the sequel to Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mehrer. Oh, sorry, I think I forgot to mention that Consider Me is by Becca Mack. I may have mentioned it. I want to make sure that I get the authors' names in there. So this is Hannah Nicole Mehrer, or Mehrer. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced. And I liked it. I was not necessarily, I had enjoyed Assistant to the Villain, and I was kind of looking forward to reading Apprentice to the Villain, but I thought that was going to happen later this year. But I saw it on the new bookshelf a couple of weeks ago, so I grabbed it, and now I've read it, and I enjoyed it. Okay, those are the ones that are due pretty much immediately. Now I'm going to move on to a book I DNF'd that's going back, and that is Demon, a memoir by Tosca Lee. And I kind of gave up on this one because it's very didactic and theological, which is fine. I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with doing that, but it was just not for a theology I'm interested in or a religion I believe in. So it wasn't really for me. But if you like things like the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis, you might get something out of this. Okay, and I also read The Lagoon by Lily Carré, which is a graphic novel. Oh, it's a very short graphic novella, short story. It's got some keen artwork. And I didn't quite know what to make of it. I'm not sorry I read it. I'm not sorry I checked it out. I'm not sorry I read it. So that's about as much as I'm going to say about that. Okay, now we're getting into some books. Oh, not quite. I was participating in a reading challenge for December, and one of the prompts was to binge. I kind of tend to prefer the term power read, but binge an entire series in one weekend, or binge a series in one weekend. So I went with Aurora Rising, Aurora Burning. Oh no, the tiara went! Oh no! Oh no! Not the tiara! Oh, my tiara fell off. I don't know if you could hear me with my head tilted back, but I was bemoaning the loss of the tiara, that it just went. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this a different way because I don't want to edit. I don't know. So this is the Aurora Cycle. I read all three of these books. I started on Sunday morning and I finished on Sunday afternoon, evening. Those are by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So I got that bit of the prompt crossed off because that was the harshest prompt on that entire December bingo board. Okay, now we're getting into some books I checked out for my live stream, where I did the 12 Days of Christmas and the Cozy Christmas book tags. And so I checked out a couple of things from the library so that I could have something to show off, something to hold up for the camera. And so I'm going to start with one of the prompts was favorite book to movie adaptation. And I had an honorable mention. And it was The Manchurian Candidate. The book is by Richard Condon and was first published in 1959. And it's been adapted twice. Once in 1962, which was directed by John Frankenheimer and starred Angela Lansbury, Frank Sinatra, Janet Leigh, and Lawrence Harvey. It's a very good adaptation. It was kind of a box office flop, and then it was in a copyright dispute for like 20 years before anybody could see it again, either on TV or home video or reissue. Nobody could see it for 20 years. There was a rumor that it was because it's about assassination and Kennedy was assassinated, but no, it was a rights dispute. And it was remade in 2004, and Frank Sinatra's daughter, Tina Sinatra, was one of the executive producers. It was directed by Jonathan Demme of Happy Memory and starred Denzel Washington, Liev Schreiber, Meryl Streep, and Kimberly Elise. And I didn't like it quite as much as I liked the 1962 version, but I did like it, and I thought that they had a good reason for bringing it forward into the 21st century. It wasn't just like some kind of shot-for-shot remake or something. There was a reason for them to update it, and I think they did a good job. And I'm actually kind of cheating because I'm not returning this today because I haven't had a chance to rewatch it, because I actually did decide to reread The Manchurian Candidate, the book, which I finished. I'm not going to rewatch The Manchurian Candidate from 1962 because I've seen it so many times. Didn't feel the need. But I haven't rewatched this one yet, and I intend to. So this is a little bit of a cheat because this one's not going back just yet. But I wanted to have them all together so that the next time I do a library unhaul, I don't want to have this just kind of hanging out by itself. Okay, that was my honorable mention for favorite book to movie adaptation. My actual favorite book to movie adaptation is Double Indemnity by James M. Cain, which was published in 1936 and was made into a movie in 1944, which starred Fred MacMurray and Barbara Stanwyck and Edward G. Robinson, and was directed by Billy Wilder. And it's really, really good. There's also a TV movie version that starred Richard Crenna and Lee J. Cobb, which was made in 1973, and I don't really feel like it was a necessary remake. I didn't feel like bringing it into the 1970s didn't really change much or add anything, and it was very much based on the movie rather than a readaptation or new adaptation of the book. They definitely, credited the movie. And so I felt it was kind of unnecessary, but the original movie from 1944 is awesome. And this book I got to hold up for the, to demonstrate the book to movie adaptation is actually, this is an omnibus. It's two books by James M. Cain. It's Double Indemnity, and it's also The Postman Always Rings Twice. And I didn't think I'd read it, but I did read it, and I was like, wait a minute, this all seems very familiar, and I know I haven't seen either the movie with Lana Turner and John Garfield or the later movie with Jessica Lange and Jack Nicholson. So, but I was like, I think I have read this before. And last, and certainly not least, was favorite book for 2024. And I love this book, The Prospects, by K.T. Hoffman. That's K.T. the initials, not K.T. as in Katie. And it's a queer baseball romance. It's about a cis dude and a trans man, And the cis dude is Grimpy, and the trans man is Sunshine, and they both play for the same AAA ball team. So AAA baseball is the highest you can go in minor league baseball. The next step up is to go to what they call the show, which is go to Major League Baseball. So it takes place in the Pacific Northwest, where they are the AAA team for a fictitious Seattle, I think it's Seattle ball team. Maybe it's Portland. Anyway, it's a fictitious team anyway. So really, really good, excellent. It made a lot of people's year-end lists, and I think it was nominated and may have even won in Best Debut, possibly, on Goodreads. So a lot of people really liked it. And now it's going back to the library because I read it several months ago. Just, it was so good, and I wanted to show it off. So now that I've done all of that, it's time to put them in the bag and take them back to the library. Thank you for watching. I'm Bargain Counter Argument, also on Instagram under that name. And if you think you might want to watch Middle-Aged Lady in a Tiara talk about books and libraries and such like, then go ahead and subscribe, or don't. I'm not the boss of you. You can like, you can comment as well. Yeah, so hopefully this footage is usable. I don't want to have to spend a lot of time reshooting and re-editing. Thanks for your attention. Have a great day or night.